Yeah? What are the news? What? No use or no news?
No news, like I still don't know where I will go.
You said something? Or you asked a question when we had the talk? You remember? When I talk about conceit, then it doesn't matter if we think we are the greatest person or if we think we are the lowest person. And in conceit, if people think they are the lowest person, this conceit is stronger than the people, who think they are, they are good.
You make an excellent point, because every time you say the word conceit, I think it never applies to me, because I think conceit is this conceit.
No. That's what I wanted to, because this was the question, that you asked, made me realize, this is really conceit, yeah? So I'm in work on it.
Now I have to go back and listen to every talk ever that's mentioned conceit, yeah.
Okay.
I've never heard it.
Yeah, that's what people don't realize, you think, we are so bad, we don't get anything done, that they are actually very conceited, yeah. And it's stronger than, people who are aloof,
But when I think of conceit, I think of it as positive conceit, not I just never interpreted his word. And when you look up in an English dictionary, conceit will never define conceit. Conceit only defines conceit. In English, conceit is only defined as positive. In Dhamma, obviously.
But it does mean, we are conceited about our position of ourselves. Who we are, that is defining ourselves, and measuring up against others. But it's also, and displaying it towards others, yeah? Oh, I'm so bad, I cannot compare with you. Or the other person says, oh, I'm so good, I'm standing way above you.
Yeah, so I should think of, every time someone uses the word conceit, I should think of the word self-view.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And that is very difficult to tackle, yeah? As the Lord Buddha said, yeah?
To be honest, Paul, this has not been an obvious problem to me, and so I've come.
Good. See? So you learned something. It was not completely useless to stay.
I used to have something to hang my identity on.
To what?
I used to have something to hang my identity on.
And that is the first, once you take that step, to go into the unknown, to fall, yeah? And that's what most of the Western people cannot do. They cannot let themselves fall into what is happening. Because they're afraid. Huh? It's just like jumping into a lake, you don't know, how deep it is, how shallow it is, if you hit yourself, or what is happening, can you swim, can you survive, is there a strudel or whatever, yeah? But we have to jump, and that gives us the freedom.
I can see it in but there's never the opportunity to actually look at it as a
That's what we normally do. We don't want to see it. And here, sometimes force, and sometimes I force you to look at these things, yeah? And that of course hurts, yeah? It hurts our self-view. Yeah? You're too fat. But it just shows us, what our self-view is not. The way other people, yeah? Sometimes, when people say something about us, yeah? They are completely cool. Because we know it's not true.
Yeah, somebody who called me, like I have a big ego.
What?
Somebody who accused me of having a big ego, and I didn't
Yeah, but you do have a big ego. Yeah, doesn't.
That's not the point that they wish. So I'm trying to say I have a big boss.
Yeah, I mean that is how we what kind of meaning we attach to the words. Yeah. I mean ego is self. Yeah, is self-view.
I'm using the English terminology.
Yeah, and that is where our problems start, and that's where also miscommunication starts. Yeah? Because actually, not even if you say if you have another Australian who said this is the same word, he still has a different meaning of it. And that's why, yeah, I mean, she knows it, with her boyfriend, she gets into, problems, yeah, sometimes, yeah. And it is only because of our different views of the same word, yeah, or our different, value of the same. We value one word more, and then the other, he doesn't think about it. Yeah?
It's just you hear it differently and you experience it differently depending on your definition of the word. So whether you hear what they meant to say or not, it completely depends on your.
That, why the best thing is not to listen to the word, but listen to the heart. Because then you really understand what he said. Yeah? I mean, he can use words, but it doesn't mean anything of that because his heart tells another story. Yeah? And I found that, I mean, it's very interesting sometimes to listen to people, they talk about something, but, actually the heart tells me a completely different story. Yeah? So, that.
When I ask a question, do you see that in me?
What?
Do you see that in me?
What?
What you just said. The word says something that the heart says something. Do you see that in me?
Yeah. I see it in everything.
So I don't have a negative ego, I have a
You do have
a positive ego.
no, you do. Yeah, but I mean, it is not really negative. It is not really positive. It is, I mean, it's the same thing. It's ego. It's attachment to our view, how we view ourselves. Right? So I wouldn't say negative or positive because that doesn't really, make any sense. Yeah, as long as we defend something. I mean, I call the ego, yeah, our castle. Yeah, yeah. And this castle is made up of all the views and opinions we have about ourselves. Yeah. So when somebody attacks our castle, we instantly defend it. Yeah, and then you mend it. But if if the attack was too big, I mean, it's very difficult to mend, and then we get hurt. Yeah. Because I mean the bullet or the cannonball I mean hits inside and then we get hurt and then we try to mend it again but it's not as strong. Yeah. The thing is I mean no matter what if it is positive or negative, the moment we see it hits our self-view. Yeah, to let it open up, and see, and remove that self-view about ourselves. Yeah? I mean, sometimes, I told you, don't know, yeah? I mean, really, but the difficulty with you is, I mean, there is this, dark lake underneath you, and you're afraid to jump into. And that's why you really can't get into samadhi. Because samadhi is, I mean, for the moment, it is, jumping into this lake, to letting go of this ego that we have. What? What is the what?
What do you mean by that?
It's the unknown. That we don't know, what it is, yeah? And we are afraid of it, to let go of self, to let go of our thoughts. No matter what kind of thoughts it is, as long as they are thought, we are attached to them. Yeah? As long as there are memories, we are attached to them and we don't want to let go of them. The moment we can let go of them, I mean, we can feel it, And then this dark lake that we are afraid of jumping in, yeah, becomes actually, very light, very bright.
So I have experienced many times before.
Yeah?
So
Yeah, but now there's something that blocks you. And there's a fear behind it.
the times when I experienced samadhi, the times when I was able to experience samadhi very easily, when I was actually like, I remember one time coming home from the train, and I wanted to hug myself.
Yeah.
And I never. The first.
Yes, it can happen in situation. I mean, how can people end up, I mean, we know the stories of people ending up, in a state of death, but that is not actually death. Yeah? I mean, what is it called? Bodily death. There are two kinds of death. There's the brain death and there's a bodily death. And that is called apanasamadhi. No. I mean, people, because they experience some sort of shock, I mean, they don't go there, voluntarily. They experience some sort of shock in their life. I'm not talking about you. Huh? But it's the same mechanism. They experience some sort of shock in their life, and they completely let go of everything, and they enter apanasamadhi. And sometimes, I mean, it takes them 3 days or sometimes 7 days. Some of them were, were already, I mean, prepared for being taken underground, yeah. And then they suddenly wake up, and the people around them, I mean, get scared, go, yeah. And other people, were already buried, and then, later on you saw them, they tried to get out of the grave, yeah. This is called, the shock, yeah, of a situation, I mean, it can be any kind of situation. It can lead us to apanasamadhi, but it can also lead us to upachara. Yeah. No matter what, yeah. Anyway, there is a fear, yeah. I mean, sometimes, some people, feel. And you have to look at what prevents you, what actually, what comes before, yeah? I mean, when the mind gets really calm, what kind of fear, what kind of thought, what kind of memory arises, and what is the feeling that is attached to this thought and memory, yeah? And that tells you everything, yeah? And then you have to counteract that. Okay?
I just reminded me, and I will go to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said it today or what?
Yesterday I did some walking meditation because when I tried to sit down it was really difficult in the morning today.
Yeah.
I just said, if you go, I just tried to do one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then later I started to get calm.
Yeah.
I started really fast.
What was fast?
First I tried to say it really fast.
Yeah.
To stay focused.
Yeah.
And later I got calm.
Yeah.
And then my Buddha became slower
Yeah.
as well.
That's okay.
But then I noticed that I said Buddha while walking.
Yeah. That's okay.
And say,
Are you combine it with your steps, or?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that okay to do, or should I not do it?
I wouldn't do it because yeah, it can be disturbing. Yeah? I mean, because then the Buddha cannot go faster or slower. Yeah? If you combine it with the step. Yeah? I mean, if you see it, I mean, just, for a few moments, say it faster, so that it becomes its own rhythm. Otherwise, you will fall into a trap. I mean, you can try it out and see what is happening. Yeah? You fall into a trap, and then suddenly the mind goes off, and you think you're still with the Buddha, but actually you're more with the steps, than with the Buddha, and the mind, while you're with the steps, the mind goes off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was experiencing, so that's why I thought.
No, that's not. We have the Buddha, to replace our thoughts, that go off, yeah. And once we see it go off, we bring it back to the Buddha. So I mean, doing it more, yeah. It is more difficult. We can do it, but it is much more difficult, to combine it. Yeah? Combine put with breathing in and do with breathing out. That is okay. But with the body movement, we are so used to walking and thinking and doing this, looking at our phones, and walking through the streets. Yeah? This is not really the right thing, to concentrate on the walking. Then sitting experience pain, and then when the pain becomes so strong, then ask what is pain, yeah? Because the moment you get up, the pain is gone.
Yeah, well, yesterday I already had it after 3 minutes, and I thought, oh, but today I go for 1 hour. I think, well,
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell yourself, because that's where the kilesa says, okay, now. How long does she last? She said 1 hour. Huh? How long do we need her to get up? Yeah, 3 minutes. Okay. What is? Question, yeah.
During meditation, I feel pressure near my nose.
Yeah.
And sometimes pressure here also.
Yeah. Reduce the pressure on the Buddha or reduce the pressure on the breath.
Now, from 2 days, many times it happened. During my sitting meditation, I feel mostly pressure on my nose.
Yeah, then go back to, you do anapanasati or what?
Sometimes before Buddha,
Yeah.
after calming.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes these things can happen because you try to concentrate too much. Yeah? Just know the breath. Yeah? Because that takes off the pressure. Yeah, sometimes there's some prickling, but then it means our attention goes, to the prickling and it's not with the breath. Yeah? Yeah? Try to go back to the breath. Okay, just feel this one breath going in, going out, and then you see this prickling of the nose might disappear. Yeah? There are all sorts of things that we are aware of, once the mind gets calm, there are feelings, sometimes, there's the feeling of the little finger or the hand or, the knee or something, it's always, it happens all our life, but we were not aware of it, yeah? And now we become aware of it, so we don't need to pay any interest to it, yeah? I know sometimes it's difficult because it's distracting.
Mind goes always here.
Yeah, no, then just put it back to the lips, yeah?
And now also it is, when I try to take a breath, it goes here only.
Yeah. Then do Buddha for a while, until this comes away, goes away, and then go back to the breath, yeah? Buddha is a very, very good remedy, for getting, our attention off this body feelings, yeah? And then when the mind is calm, you can go back to the breath. You can do switch, in the beginning. And in the end, you don't want to switch because, it is too bothersome to switch. Okay?
One question. Before 4 or 5 days, I saw a snake.
Yeah?
Just going like that, near my walking path.
Yeah?
Before that, I was very much afraid of snakes.
Yeah.
Just in my imagination, I thought when I see a snake, I shout, I run. But when I saw it, I just calm and curiously
Yeah?
saw it. So what was that?
That is good.
I don't understand me and snake.
Yeah? That is good, because your mind is calm. There is no fear coming up. There is no thought coming up. There is no fear coming up. And then you see the snake as a snake, yeah? And you have actually metta, compassion for it. Yeah? That's good.
I see, saw it very curiously how it looks, and it is just a snake.
Yeah?
Now I am calm.
Yeah? Yeah, because that is good. It's a good sign of meditation as well, that the thoughts and the memories don't, rush over you. Yeah?
Before that, I was very much afraid of small feelings. One question.
I'm only afraid, if I don't see it, if I was mindless, yeah, and then suddenly, it is in front of me, then there's a first shock before it comes, back to mindfulness. What?
Actually, talk today about conceit.
Was it a special occasion?
Yeah.
His birthday?
What do you say? Inauguration of treaty.
Oh, I know. The drinking went on top of the hill. Is it?
No.
No, never.
This is 1.5 hours. I mean, you watch your mouth, before you speak, you think. I mean, in German we have a saying, before opening the mouth, turn on your brain.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, no, no.
That's a good saying, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's at least 1.5 hours. Is it possible to meditate? No, I understand what I'm saying.
No, it's a monastery I used to be for 2 years in Cooper Richard and Alex, yeah.
Oh, well, you were there, huh?
I spent 2 months of it.
No.
Looking for other monasteries until I found this one. So, if I need you, I call you.
Okay.